What's up, everyone? This is Eflex, and welcome to a producer's approach. In this video, we're going to be looking at one of the best meme songs, I think, on the internet within the last few years, and it's Noisestorm song Rave. And what started with an April Fool's joke turned into one of the biggest meme songs ever. I mean, I think he got like a gold record for the song, which is kind of crazy. But anyways, like all the other videos, I'm gonna have an intro section, and then I'll have a breakdown section, and then I'll have an outro section for this video. And then if you want to check out this actual Noisestorm Crab Rave, like the original video, you can look it up on YouTube, or I will put a link in the description to the original video, and I'll just leave that there for you guys to click and watch the video. So other than that, we'll start with the kind of backstory of Crab Rave and when I personally listened to it. So I actually listened to this song April 1st, 2018 when it released. I had no clue what it was. I was kind of confused, like what Crab Rave was. I figured, Monstercat would do something for April Fools because they've done something in the past in that regards. I can't remember if the song Bleed was released on April Fools. I feel like it might have been, but I'm not sure. But I had a funny feeling in 2018 that they were going to do a April Fools thing. And, when the song came out, I saw Noisestorm Crab Rave. I was like, what the heck's a Crab Rave? And then I listened to the song, and it was pretty interesting because for a meme song, it was really good. And I figured it was going to be because it's, Noisestorm. Noisestorm has been making really good music since like 2012. I mean, he's an OG Monstercat member. So when you see Noisestorm, you don't really immediately think a meme song. I mean, it's going to be good, but you're just kind of like, Crab Rave, okay. And then after I listened to it, I remember I was laughing so hard, but like I was just kind of grooving and bobbing my head quite a bit because it was just so funny with dancing crabs. But then like the song is so good. Like so many aspects of the song is really good. So yeah, that's basically when I discovered Crab Rave. And then over the years I kept seeing it pop up on social media and like as a meme, and there were so many memes, like the Obama one, and like the dancing monkey or something to Crab Rave, or Bongo Cat to Crab Rave. I mean, it was like so many. And yeah, as I said earlier, I think Noisestorm ended up getting like a gold record for the song being so popular, which is kind of crazy. So it's just one of those things. And I have to give a shout out to one of my buddies who didn't really recommend, but he reminded me of Crab Rave, and he was like, hey man, it would be cool if you did a video on Crab Rave. And I was like, oh shoot, I forgot about that. Yeah, let me do that because this song's really interesting and it's pretty funny, and it's actually a really good song. So we'll start with the breakdown now for Crab Rave. So in the beginning, there's a lot of very natural sounds, and from what I can gather in the very beginning, in terms of like the crab claps and then just kind of the nature sounds, to me they remind me a lot of Foley. If you don't know what Foley is, basically it's what the movies use in terms of making sounds, movies and shows. So basically, if you want to create like water, or you want to create like stepping sounds with shoes, or you want to create like a sand sound, or any sound effects, basically like real life sound effects, Foley basically is the technique where you take items that you don't normally think would sound like natural items and use it in and record it, so it's used in media to be represented as a natural sound. So the best representation I can think of off the top of my head is like water. So I think in a lot of movies, when a person's in water, they're hearing water in the background. I think they use maybe some type of beads or something, and they like have a microphone right next to it recording, and they might have like beads coming down, and that effect might sound like water. Or if you wanted to say, in the producing like EDM world, if you want to make your own unique clap, you can just like, slap a book down or slap a metal, like a metal little storing container. You could slap that down. If it makes like a noise, like a really loud kind of clap noise, you can record that and then augment that to be used in the song. So that's kind of the Foley technique. They use that a lot in movies and TV shows and visual media like that, but it's also used in music. As you can see here, like a lot of the sounds in the very beginning here sound like Foley, and those crab claps, they don't sound like a regular clap, so they don't sound like a sound design sound either, like a sound Noisestorm made. At least to me, it sounds more like Foley, like you used like a real life object to make it sound like crabs clapping. But yeah, that's just the kind of simple explanation of Foley. If you guys want to look more into Foley, you can look it up on your own. But from what I know, they use it in a lot of visual media and movies and stuff to recreate the more naturalistic sounds like water and wind and stuff in the studio. So they use non-traditional items like marbles, like squishing veggies and cutting veggies, and it's really interesting. It's its own kind of art form, I guess. So now we'll go into the actual breakdown of the song. Yeah, with the water, sounds like Foley. With the kind of bugs, sounds like Foley. Yeah, all the nature sounds sound quite like Foley, like Noisestorm went out there and used a microphone. Yeah, these claps, at least from just me hearing it, they really sound like Foley sounds. They almost sound like drumsticks, like what a drummers use. Almost sounds like that, like hitting together and like in front of a microphone. I could be wrong. That's kind of just my assumption, but I mean it sounds quite like that. But I like, how it creates the beat with the like it kind of creates the beat with the kind of crab claps with now the more traditional EDM synth coming in. So it's pretty cool there. You do kind of hear the crab claps playing, but they're not as prominent. He actually has like a more normal clap playing in this transitionary part over here on the Flux side. Yeah, to me at least, they sounded more like traditional claps, or maybe he lowered the crab claps down or replaced it with a different sound, because it sounds similar to the crab claps, but it sounds to me more like a traditional crab, a more traditional clap sound that you'd use in a more traditional EDM song. And it's just pretty interesting to note that clap sound kind of comes in when the plucks come in, because when the pad sound's still playing, the crab clap sounds are pretty prominent, but then it kind of switches, and then now it's the more traditional build-up where like a more EDM snare kind of comes in to, introduce the rave of crabs, which is crab rave. So pretty cool. It's a very interesting switch in it seems like percussion from very, naturalistic sounds to a more traditional EDM club sound of sounds, like in terms of like percussion. So pretty cool. So it's kind of a more, standard build up. Had the kind of kick kind of build up, and then with some white noise, and then it had like a almost like little rhythm before the drop, like a little kind of transitionary drop rhythm. Pretty cool. And then now you get to see, the traditional crabs dancing in the crab rave. So we'll listen to that and see that. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, I really like the drop sounds. So the percussion is pretty traditional, where it's like a kick and a snare, or a kick and a clap, and then you hear kind of the hi hat kind of playing on. It sounds like every beat. Yeah, it sounds like every beat, and then you have a more tropical sounding lead synth. I almost want to say it sounds a little kind of tropical Jamaican almost like, but that's just my sense. But the interesting part I like about this drop is the bass sound that Noisestorm uses. It's a really interesting bass sound. Like, I don't know. Me personally, I kind of get fascinated with bass sounds, unless it's like, a really cool lead. But most of the time, like, I focus on bass sounds in a song, and like that bass sound was so clean and it's so unique. It's very much like Noisestorm style. A lot of his basses kind of have been around that realm. They're maybe not as clean. They're maybe a little more distorted in the past with his dubstep and his trap and his drum step and electro, but you could just kind of tell from that bass line that it's more of a Noisestorm styled bass line, but it's just super clean, and I don't know, it's really unique, to say the very least. But yeah, there's a nice separation between that bass line and the percussion and the lead kind of tropical kind of sound that you see the crabs dancing to. So it's really cool. It sounds really simple, but the mix is super clean, so you're able to hear every single sound pretty well. Like, there's no muddiness really in the mix where you can't really tell, like, oh, like, I never heard that sound before. Like, all the sounds are pretty clear, so you can pretty much hear how like the song is structured and all the aspects of it kind of within the mix. So if you can hear that, then the mix usually is pretty good. And right here you're going to hear a kind of white noise riser building up, because I think this is the kind of end of the first drop and then going into the break before it builds up into the second drop. I just have to say, I really like the pads and the ambiance that Noisestorm used in the song. As much of a meme song as it is, I mean, the ambiance, like, and the pads, that like the kind of the emotion he's kind of portraying in the song, you kind of feel like, you're in nature, you're on an island with a bunch of crabs. Like, it's a nice contrast between, the drop with a bunch of dancing crabs, and then this part where it's more, you're looking at nature, you're kind of relaxing, there's kind of a break in between, you kind of see the seasons change in this video. It's just kind of like a nice contrast, almost like a more ravey to like a more kind of naturalistic, almost dreamy like break sections and ambiance. So it's pretty cool. as one of the other aspects I do like about the song is the transition from, nature sounding sounds into like a rave song, as meme of a song as this is. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And this part, like the build-up's like pretty much the same with the snare and the white noise and the transition and everything, but he doesn't start the kick right after the transition. Like he gives like a little bit where like the leads play, and then after that the kick comes in. It just kind of gives a kind of breath of air again before the drop. Like you kind of are waiting, like you build up the tension, you transition, you don't hear the kick, and then once the kick comes in, then you can like start dancing. That's used in certain EDM songs. Off the top of my head, I can't remember which ones, but I know I've heard that technique used in multiple songs. And I mean, if you're at a live event, you're kind of just waiting for the drop, and then you're waiting, and then you hear the sounds, and then all of a sudden when the kick comes in, then you start, going crazy. So it's just pretty cool. That's a more traditional element for EDM songs, and while it's cool listening to the song as well, I think that aspect is, if the song was played live somewhere, like that would really be where you would notice that kind of like drop off, because when the kick comes in, then you really hear like the bass pounding. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a little bit different than the first drop where it just transitioned and went straight in. So it's pretty cool actually. In the drop, there are actually little bits of times where there's like a little white noise, kind of just to keep the flow of the drop going. So it's like it'll go like there'll be like maybe a measure or two will play out, and then there's like a white noise in between, and then the drop will still play out, and then maybe like after the next like maybe 2 or 3 measures, then there's like a white noise. So personally, I do that in my songs during the drop, like in between, like if the drop section goes on for, let's say, 30 seconds, so that would be maybe what, 15, no, that'd be about 17, 18 measures, so halfway through. So say if it's 18, around measure maybe 9, like I put in a kind of white noise transitionary noise, just to kind of give a flow or a better flow into the drop. So it's like a transitionary sound, but like it keeps the drop going and keeps the flow and the energy kind of up, and you don't really notice that sound as much because it's kind of like a transitionary sound kind of in the background, but it just continues and keeps the flow of the song while the drop is continuing. And I also heard a kind of transitionary drum, like some toms playing in the background. So that's like another technique you can use too in a song to keep the drop flow going. Because if you don't add those transitionary sounds, it's not like the end of the world, but it is noticeable when you're listening to the song. Like it almost sounds like you're missing that sound. I don't know, that's something I've noticed when I started producing, and even a little bit before when I started producing. I was like, ooh, wow, like I didn't notice like there was kind of like that like a white noise here. Like I would have added that here, so the flow would have went a little bit better in the song. But to each their own. It can work without it. It's just when you have that transitionary little white noise just kind of in the background, it just helps the flow a little bit better. So this is the outro section of the song. All the crabs are going to sleep now. They raved pretty hard. Yeah, it's crazy to me that this song and the video was both made by Noisestorm. Blows my mind. I mean, this song was so popular that he's even making a game called Crab Champions. That's even crazy in itself. But yeah, and within the outro, it kind of is a shorter outro with more the naturalistic pads and ambient sounds. But overall, this song is, Noisestorm, Crab Rave. It's a really good song. What I will say is it balances the naturalistic ambiance and feel with the EDM parts. Like the flow of it is nice. It goes from like a more naturalistic sound to like a typical EDM club song to a naturalistic part and then back to a EDM club almost like. So it's pretty interesting. The sounds are pretty simple, which is really good because the song is super clean, which makes it really nice. You can hear every aspect of the song. And basically, overall, I mean, this song is really good. And again, as I said, it's like a really good meme song, but I think it's a meme song for a good reason because, I mean, you have dancing crabs. I mean, how that won't be a meme song would be beyond me before it became one. And also just the production and quality of the song, like the drop sections is really simple. It's really catchy. So that would get stuck in a lot of people's heads. And just the crab sounds are unique. I mean, you don't hear that many EDM songs. And just with the video, it's pretty cool how, it starts the day early in the morning, then it kind of changes into the afternoon, and then it goes to nighttime. So basically crabs are raving in the morning and then the late afternoon. So, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a crab rave, but definitely would like to, see one like this one day, just a bunch of crabs out on the beach, dancing around like a crab rave. But overall, this is Crab Rave by Noisestorm. With any Noisestorm song, you're going to get really high production quality and just a really overall good song. Whether it be catchy or really heavily with sound design, any Noisestorm song is going to be really good. Even some of his not as good songs are still really good. So I would say, if you don't know Noisestorm's music, really go check out his stuff. Some of his songs might not be for you, but for the most part, like the majority of his songs are really clean, just mixing wise, like they're super clean, and every aspect of like his music is just really, precise and clean. The only other artist that might be above him is maybe Deadmau5 in terms of technicality, but Noisestorm's not that far off from him, and maybe even AU5. Like, I don't think Noisestorm's that far off. So overall, this is Crab Rave. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had to review the best crab rave or the rave of crabs of all time. So anyways, if you guys like the video, please leave a like, or if you like something or dislike something or want to give me some feedback, feel free to leave a comment and I'll probably look at and respond back. Constructive criticism is always good. Even if I get, a bad review, I mean, I gotta take it and, kind of see what I can change and improve. So, other than that, that is, the rave of crabs. And I hope you guys enjoyed me rambling for however long this video is. And if you want to check out the Crab of Raves, if you haven't already, go check it out. All right, everyone. Have a good one. Peace.